5 games that deserve a sequel. Today we're going to explore what I think are 5 games that I've played in the past that deserve to have a sequel. Some of them have been around for a long time, and some of them are more recent, but they do deserve a sequel, I think. And when I played them, I thought they'd get a sequel because they were quite fun. Not every good game gets a sequel, but these are 5 that I expected and that I like. You're going to see a common theme here too. I'm a PlayStation fanboy, so a lot of these are PlayStation games, although they have come out on other consoles as well. Some of them have come out on other consoles. But let's get right into it. My first pick for this, my very first pick, is Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno was the very first PlayStation 3 game I got. In fact, I waited to buy my PlayStation 3 until this game came out. I was waiting for it. I was anticipating it. I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube on it. It was on, I've seen the trailers for it, and of course, it did spawn an animated movie. But this game was quite a lot of fun. It was a lot of people said, oh, it's a God of War clone, and it does have combat similar to God of War, but you do have 2 skill trees, one for physical, one for magic, and basically it follows Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy, the Inferno section of it anyway, where you traverse hell and you go through all 9 levels of hell. The stages are set basically based on the descriptions for those 9 layers of hell that the book gave. And the monsters in it are based on the sin that level is representing. At the end of the game, you defeat Satan himself, and Dante gets out of hell. But I think they could make a sequel. I think they could put a couple twists in there. He was chasing after his wife Beatrice, who was in hell, and she was being corrupted by the devil. And maybe they could play something along those lines. Dante, of course, is killed right at the start of the game. That's how he ends up in hell. And maybe because he was dead, then this travel through hell, this quest through hell, didn't really have the effects. I don't know. I'll leave the story up to the story design guys, but I think this game deserves a remake. It came out a long time ago, but it still holds up today. This is still a fun game today. If you haven't played it, you should play it. Dante's Inferno. All right, the next one is a PlayStation 3 game as well. It was an early release for PlayStation 3. It's Heavenly Sword. So this is very much like a God of War game again. But this one used the 6-axis controller for some of the scenes in it, and some of the things that you had to do, some of the puzzles that you had to complete, or when you shoot an arrow really far away, or maybe a cannon, I can't remember, really far away, you use the 6-axis controller. You actually move your controller to control the cannonball or the projectile. And I thought that was really neat because when PlayStation 3 came out, they hyped up the 6-axis controller. And besides this game, I don't really know of any games that did anything with it. And that's too bad because it provided a little bit of a different take on playing a video game. And of course, when you were younger, or you always watch your parents play Super Mario Brothers, and they'd be trying to jump by lifting their arms instead of hitting the button. But whatever. I mean, it was fun to actually control the projectiles. And when you got good at it, hey, it was a skill you could learn and a skill you could get better at, and you get better at the game by doing it. So I think Heavenly Sword does deserve a remake. It had a quirky little story with a quirky little tribe of people. I remember playing this through. I mean, this was such an early release; it didn't even have trophies for PlayStation 3. So it came out before trophies were even available. So this game doesn't. I don't think it has trophies anyway. They might have patched it in the last few years, but I even doubt that. Anyway, Heavenly Sword. That's my second game that I think deserves a sequel. So, game number 3 that deserves a sequel. Of course, you're seeing a trend here. It's Primal for PlayStation 2. So, this game is sort of like Mega Man meets like a God of War type thing again, but the combat in this game would really need to be updated. I played it recently, and it is kind of strange how the combat works. You use your trigger buttons for all the moves, and I don't think that quite works with this kind of game. But this was a really fun game to play. In Primal, you go through four big stages, each representing one of the four elements: fire, earth, air, and water. And as you go through the stages, you gain the powers of the residents in those stages. Also, as you go through the stages, your goal is to restore balance because evil has infected all four of them. So you're trying to restore balance, and so that the good stages, the good areas, are now good again, and the evil areas aren't quite as strong. So you go through the game, you collect these powers, and it's almost like Mega Man in that sense that by the end of it, when you've got all four of them, you can change into four. I don't know if they're demons or spirits or whatever they are, but it almost reminds you of Devil May Cry because you can go into this demon form. And the woman is still the person, but she's got physical aspects of whatever it is, whatever the creature is that she is representing there. So this is kind of it was kind of cool, and the water stage I remember being very cool. The second that's the second world you visit, and I think this game does deserve a sequel just because it was fun, not necessarily because it sold a whole hell of a lot of copies. I don't know how many copies it sold. I guess I could look it up, but it was a lot of fun, and I think a sequel is I think a sequel would be good for this game. Once again, third game, Primal. All right, so the fourth game isn't just one game. The fourth game already is a franchise, but it hasn't had a release in a long time. My entire adult life, I've been playing Twisted Metal. I got two of them here. I got the last one that they did, and then I got Head On for PlayStation 2. If you're not new to the channel, I did Twisted Metal Black, what makes this game great. I have that electronically on my PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And I've got Twisted Metal 2. I just got the Platinum Trophy in that on PlayStation 4, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago. I've been playing these games my entire adult life. They are amazing. But when I think about what they could do now with today's technology, with online, they can make these games unbelievably addictive, unbelievably uh, amazing, just incredible. If you think about the online possibilities, you could do player versus player, you could do battle royales, you could do team versus team, you could do it like they do with Overwatch. So you you die with one car, you go back to the spawn area, you can change your car. Maybe you're stuck with that same car the entire time, and you die. When you die, and that's it. You're out. You could do so many different scenarios with this game, and you could do co-op, maybe two-player co-op, a three-player co-op, where you're going through the stages. Team co-op. I don't know. There's so many variables with the online games that they could do with Twisted Metal, and they could even monetize this, give you the free game, and do microtransactions like they do with Overwatch, and they'd make a fortune, I think, and I think it would be wonderful. I'm not sure who owns this franchise now. I assume it's Sony themselves owns this franchise, but I think they should bring out a new game for this, and I think they should take full advantage of the online capabilities that they have now to make a really incredible game. And I think it would be. I would certainly buy it, and I would probably even buy. I could probably even do what I really hate doing, and I'd probably even go for some of the microtransactions just to customize my cars. I it would just be amazing. This they could, and they've got all kinds of content from past games. They could reuse levels even. There's no reason why you couldn't reuse some of the levels. One thing that I do think is that they should get rid of. the secondary, the secondary things you need to do, the secondary goals of each level. Like get away from in this game, you wouldn't just kill the guys, you'd have to win a race, or you wouldn't just kill the guys, but maybe the points would move where you could do the fighting, and if you were outside of that area, you would take damage. Get rid of that stuff. Just go back to the basic levels, make them big, make them huge, and give us online play. And I think that the Twisted Metal game today would blow everybody away. And plus, you've got this Twisted Metal series right now. You've got a springboard to a brand new game. The series is actually doing quite well, as I understand it, as far as ratings go. People are watching it, people are liking it. So you've got a springboard from a whole bunch of gamers, nostalgic for Twisted Metal, and capabilities of today. You can make an amazing game. So get out there and do it, Sony. Okay, the fifth one, the last one I have on my list for games that deserve a sequel is Wild Arms. So Wild Arms kind of petered out. It's a role playing game. It's kind of a western with RPG or swords and sorcery elements like magic to it. It's set in a world that's dying off, and the arms, the actual guns, they're not allowed to be used. They're outlawed, but your character has them, or one of the characters in your team has them. And what I liked about these games is they were really fun. They were just fun. They were good little RPGs, and not even little. They were long, actually quite long, but they were good RPGs. Kind of light-hearted, not too heavy. Um, not heavy in the story wise as things like Final Fantasy VII, for instance, which at the time was really heavy story wise. But they were a little lighter than that. I played the first one on PlayStation 1. I enjoyed it. And of course, I've got these two right here for PlayStation 2. Alter Code F is actually a kind of a remake of the first one. And I've been playing this one recently. And they're fun RPG, but it deserves a rebirth, I think. Fun game, and it really is the fun factor in this. It's a fun RPG that anybody can get into. Like I said, it's like a western with magic elements or swords and sorcery elements to it. So I think they should remake Wild Arms, and or not remake, but bring out a new sequel for Wild Arms, and I think that would be wonderful. So those are my 5 games. So once again, it's Dante's Inferno, Heavenly Sword, Primal for PlayStation 2, Twisted Metal, that's a big one, and of course, Wild Arms. So at this point, I'm going to say, I hope you subscribe to my channel. Please do so. It would really help me out. It really shows an indicator that, hey, people like my content. And of course, if you like this video and want to see more of these types of videos, give a thumbs up, because I have no idea if people like the video when they watch it, unless they do give a thumbs up. There's no other way for me to know. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I hope you join me on my channel again sometime. Thank you very much. Bye.